Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. Damini Mataji, are you there? Can you make me host so that I can share the screen? Hare Krishna, Vishnu Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Damini Mataji.
In Harinam, we went, I believe, 3 times on Harinam in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening until night to Piccadilly Circus. In the afternoon, we went, I believe, 3 times on Harinam in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening until night to Piccadilly Circus. And when we were coming, it was to take a little prasadam or to see the Arctic and to read Bhagavad Gita and whatever scriptures we have. So we were fully absorbed. So that was really our meditation, this Harinam. We used to meditate on hearing and chanting the holy name, trying not to be distracted from all the crowd and all the shop windows. And actually, we got so absorbed that everybody was feeling full of bliss and joy. When we first joined, and Prabhupada saw us dancing with our nylon bright pink and blue saris, he was very kind. He said, "Oh, these young girls, they are just flowers blowing in the wind."
At that time, I was maintained. My family was selling hippie bells and beads on Oxford Street, and the devotees used to pass by on Harinam. That was quite an interesting Harinam. Sometimes there used to be one devotee called Isha, and he was French Canadian. He used to play trumpet, and he used to wear a dhoti. It was a leopard skin pattern dhoti. It wasn't leopard skin, but you know, they were quite a funny crowd, and they used to go down Oxford Street chanting, and sometimes I joined on once or twice. So finally, then the record came out, the Hare Krishna record. And that one I used to play all day long at my little apartment. And then we heard, well, the guru's coming. Prabhupada didn't disappoint us. He arrived on time. And then I attended the first lecture in Conway Hall. Actually, I didn't understand anything that Prabhupada was saying, really. I mean, a few little words I could get now and again. But I just sat there, you know, just drinking the vibration and the whole divine presence of his being. And so by the time the interval came, you know, I just went to speak with the devotees and said, okay, when I can join, just enough to see Prabhupada one time. By the time he'd opened his mouth and by the time he'd closed his mouth was enough for me. And around a week later, I moved into Tittenhurst Park. The devotees were living on John Lennon's estate at that time. And so I arrived there, I got out of the van, and the first person I saw was Melody. And she said, Prabhupada's in the temple room, quick, Prabhupada's in the temple room. So I ran down this path through the trees into the temple room. And I entered into the doorway, and there I could see Srila Prabhupada, and he was just blessing a newborn baby. I think it was the baby of Ishan. Ishan was holding out the baby to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada placed his hand on the baby's head. And then Srila Prabhupada got down from the Vyasa, and he walked towards the doorway, and I was just like getting up and paying my obeisances, and Melody immediately said, Prabhupada, it's people that are coming to Krishna consciousness. And I just looked up at Prabhupada, and Prabhupada looked down at me, and he said, Hare Krishna, and a big, big smile on his face. And it was like at that time, everything just went spinning. It was like, it seemed that I've been traveling through so many universes and so many lifetimes, and just to come to that point, to see my spiritual master and spiritual father and pure devotee of the Lord stood before me, just looking at me in this first meeting, it was something really, really strong. And so then 1 week later, I got initiated. And it was during that initiation ceremony, actually, that I heard the 4 rules and regulations from the mouth of Srila Prabhupada himself for the first time. But that was okay with me, because I just was like magnetized and fixed on Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhupada, anything Prabhupada said was okay, so no problem.
Main part.
Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Welcome everyone. Let's begin with invocation prayers. Omagyanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha. Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam. Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam. Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapte Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishbhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanand So we are discussing chapter 9 from Bhagavad Gita, Rajguhya Yoga, most confidential knowledge. We discussed verse 1 and 2. Krishna began this chapter saying, Idam tute guhyatamam pravakshyam anasuyave. I'm giving you, Arjuna, this most confidential knowledge because anasuyave, because you are free from envy. Jnanam vijnana sahitam, not only jnana, but also vijnana I'll be giving to you. And what would happen by that? Yaj gyatva moksha se ashubhat. You'll be delivered from all inauspicious conditions of life. So we discussed about the most confidential knowledge yesterday. We discussed about the topic of envy, and we also discussed about what is the inauspicious condition in life. So then next verse is Raj Vidya, Raj Kuyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam, Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartam Abhyayam. So Krishna is explaining the characteristics of knowledge which he is about to give. And this also we discussed yesterday, how this knowledge is Raj Vidya. There are so many systems of philosophy, but this is king of all. Why it's Raj Kuyam? Just the knowledge of soul itself is a confidential knowledge. But to understand that soul has activities in relation with the super soul in the spiritual world, it's the most confidential knowledge. Raj Vidya, Raj Kuyam Pavitram, it is the purest of all. Why it is purest of all? I would like to ask you, can some please share your thoughts? Why do you think this knowledge is purest of all?
The knowledge you're talking about the Bhagavad Gita.
So Krishna is speaking chapter 9, and he's speaking about the knowledge that he's about to give in chapter 9. That is purest of all.
It's the most confident and knowledge. That's why it's the purest.
Okay, thank you. What else?
It is the pure knowledge or knowledge, divine knowledge, which is actually telling us how to connect with Krishna. So that's why it is known as the.
Yes. So it is purest of all knowledge because we discussed the cycle of sin yesterday. Any other method or knowledge is incapable to remove the sinful disposition, right? But through this knowledge, it addresses the root cause of sin, that is avidya. And that is why it is pavitram. It's purest of all. No other knowledge has that capacity. Some of them can remove sinful reactions which are about to manifest. But kutam, sinful disposition, only this knowledge can. So not only this will deliver the aprarabdh, but as well as kutam. Desire to commit sin is also purified. Therefore, it is pavitram. Idam uttamam. This is uttamam. It's beyond the darkness of this knowledge. It's transcendental knowledge coming from divine source. Pratyaksha dharmyam. It can be practically pratyaksh realized. I can realize that I'm making spiritual progress or not. Pratyaksha dharmyam. It is essence of all dharma. And it's susukhum. Kartum. It's done very happily. Avyayam. And whatever you know, whatever progress you make, it is avyaya. It is permanent. It will never be lost. So we discussed till this verse yesterday. Let's move ahead. Ashadadhana purusha dharmasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu sansara vartamani. So if despite knowing that it is Raj Vidya, Raj Goyam, and one will get a moksha se ashubhat, what happens if someone doesn't pay attention to this knowledge? Why are there people who are not able to cultivate this knowledge? And Krishna speaks, Ashadadhana Purusha. If someone have no faith, they're faithless. Faithless towards whom? Dharmasyasya. About this process of religion. Parantapa, O Arjuna. So if someone doesn't have any Shraddha, so that is Ashraddha. So they are unable to, they don't pay attention to it. And what happens to them? What is the result of Ashraddha? Aprapyamam nivartante. Aprapyamam, they cannot attain me. Nivartante, they come back. Where? Mrityu sansara vartmani, in this path of Mrityu sansar, in this cycle of sansara chakra. So those who are not faithless in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this world. So what is faith? What is Shraddha? In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains what is Shraddha. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kaile, Sudrida Nishchay, Krishna Bhakti Karile, Sarva Karma Krit hoye. That by service to Krishna, everything else will be taken. It's the essence of all the actions. For example, Srila Prabhupada quotes verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Yatha Taror Mula Nishechanena. This verse. So by giving water to the root of a tree, one satisfies its branch, twigs, and leaves. And by supplying food to the stomach, one satisfies all the senses of the body. Similarly, by engaging in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, one automatically satisfies all the demigods and all other living entities. So if you can satisfy Krishna by your actions, everything else will be taken care of. This is called as Shraddha. We have obligation to so many different people in our lives. We have obligation to parents, obligation to our different demigods. How do you think we are able to live in this world? If there is no sun, can we live? No. If there's no proper wind blowing, can we breathe in, breathe out? No. If there is no moon, will there be any taste in any vegetable that we go? Like that for every smallest of thing that I'm able to blink the eye, that also needs, I'm dependent on a particular living entity for that. So I'm obligated to them. You use electricity in the home, you need to pay electricity bill, is it not? You use water, you need to pay water bill. So where are the bills for the sunlight, the water, wind, that all of that is coming. So we are obligated to forefathers, we are obligated to sages for the knowledge, but everything else is taken care of if we can serve Krishna and satisfy Krishna, and that is faith. So Srila Prabhupada explains, based upon development of this faith, there are three categories of people: third class, first class, and second class. So third class, okay, let's quickly go through this. Please read from here. There are three. Yes, Bhisham Prabhu, please read.
There are three divisions.
There are three divisions of Krishna consciousness, Krishna conscious men. In the third class are those who have no faith. Even if they are officially engaged in devotional service, they cannot achieve the highest perfectional stage. Most probably, they will slip after some time. They may become engaged, but because they haven't complete conviction and faith, it is very difficult for them to continue in Krishna consciousness. We have practical experience in discharging our missionary activity that some people come and apply themselves to Krishna consciousness with some hidden motive. And as soon as they are economically a little well situated, they give up this process and take to their old ways again. It is only by faith that one can advance in Krishna consciousness. As far as the development of faith is concerned, one who is well versed in the literatures of devotional services and has attained the stage of firm faith is called a first class person in Krishna consciousness. And in second class are those who are not very advanced in understanding the devotional scriptures, but who automatically have firm faith that Krishna Bhakti or service to Krishna is the best course, and so in good faith have taken it up.
Yes. So the purpose of Bhakti Shastri, one of the central core purpose of Bhakti Shastri program, is the development of our faith in the process of bhakti. Right? It is only by faith that one can advance in Krishna consciousness. And as far as development of faith is concerned, one who is well versed in the literatures of devotional service. Right? How well versed are you in literatures of devotional service? What are those literatures? Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the compositions by the Goswamis of Vrindavan, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Manga. These are all literatures of devotional service. How well versed are we in these literatures? Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Upanishads. So faith, how is faith generated? It comes through association of devotees and by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So based upon the development of this faith, we are categorized into whether someone is Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, or Uttam Adhikari. And what decreases faith? Like what destroys faith in this process? If association of devotees develops faith, then a satsang can also destroy faith. Therefore, every Vedic scriptures warns us of the ill effects of non-devotee association. So after explaining the characteristics of this knowledge, someone who follows this knowledge, the result of that, someone who does not follow, the result of that. Now Krishna is finally speaking the knowledge. So far he was developing a context of what he's about to give, but now he's actually giving. And what's the first verse that he spoke in that regard? Maya tatam idam sarvam jagata vyakta murtina vatsthani sarvabhutani na chaham teshvavastita. So Maya tatam idam sarvam. Through me, idam. Idam means this. What is this? Sarvam jagat. This entire world. Complete jagat. Avyakta murtina. Avyakta. So there are two words, vyakta and avyakta. Vyakta means manifest, avyakta means unmanifest. So I am present in this entire world, sarvam jagat, through my unmanifested, avyakta murtina. The next is matsthani sarvabhutani. Sarvabhutani means all creation, all living entities are matsthani. They are situated. Sthan matlab Sthan means to be situated. Where their all living entities are situated? Mat, in me. Mat sthani sarvabhutani. So if all living entities are situated in me, am I also situated everywhere? Na chaham teshvavastita. No. Na means no. Aham means me. Teshvavastita. But I am not in them. So these verses are like a puzzle. This 4th, 5th, and 6th verses. And Krishna is explaining what is the topic in these verses. What is it that Krishna is describing? Can you just read the translation of 4, 5, and 6 and try to identify the topic of this discussion? Let's go to the next verse also. See, Nachamatstani bhutani pashyame yogam aishwaram. Now, in the previous verse, what did Krishna says? Matsthani sarva bhutani. Right? The second line of the previous verse. Check. It is Matsthani sarva bhutani. Every living entity is situated into me. But now he's speaking a completely opposite thing. Na cha matsthani bhutani. And yet all living entities are not in me. Pashye me yogam aishwaram. See my yogeshwaram. Aishwarya means opulence. And yogin means mystic. See this mystic opulence. Bhut brinna cha bhutasto mamatma bhuta bhavana. So bhut brin means I am the maintainer of bhutasto, all the living entities. Mamatma bhuta bhavana. And I am the source of all manifestation. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I'm everywhere, I'm not a part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation. Can you see the paradox in the previous verse and this verse? In the previous verse, he said, Matstani Sarva Bhutani. All living entities are in me. But in the very next verse, he's saying, and yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Nacha Matstani. How to understand this? So Krishna gives an example. Yathakasha sthito nityam vayu sarvatra gomahan. Tatha sarvani bhutani matstanitya upadharaya. So he's giving example. Yatha means just like. Akasha sthito nityam. In Akash, in the sky, what is situated? Vayuhu, sarvatra gomahan. So, and just that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere, rest always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. So we read the translation of these three verses. We'll discuss this also. But I want to ask all of you, just by reading this translation and these verses, what do you think is the subject matter of this knowledge? What is it that Krishna is explaining? If you have to give a heading to these three verses, what would that be? Yes, Neela Mataji?
Krishna is residing in everything. Yeah,
Okay,
everything is
Krishna is
part and
heading
parcel of
everything.
Krishna.
Everything is part and parcel of Krishna. So what heading or what is the subject matter? Okay, Krishna is everywhere. That's one. Thank you. What else?
There is a proper term used for that. I'm trying to recall.
Okay, Prerna Mataji.
He's not attached to anything. Like he's beyond all the things. He renounced.
Okay, good. He's not attached to anything. Yes, Shatabi Mataji.
Everything rests upon Krishna's energy, and he maintains the universe, remains transcendental to it, and repeatedly create and dissolve the cosmic manifestation.
Yes, good. What else? Other devotees? Possible to switch on your cameras, those who can. Okay, so Krishna is explaining his relationship with this material world, right? And Krishna himself is saying the topic, Pashye me, what's the next word in the verse 4? Na chamatstani bhutani Pashye me. Verse 5, sorry.
May yoga mesh.
Yoga mesh.
Yes. See my mystic opulence. So himself is saying, he's explaining his mystic opulence. How is this opulence? Usually by opulence, we think lot of money, lot of beauty, lot of knowledge, lot of power, right? But here in these three verses, in fact, the first two verses only, Krishna is explaining his opulences. What is his opulence? And can you tell how Krishna being everywhere, everything is resting on him, and yet everything is not resting in him? How is this opulence? And what kind of opulence is this? It looks like a paradox. Krishna is saying one thing in verse 4 and completely different thing in verse 5. Is it not? If you read the translation of verse 4 and 5. And that's why it says the most confidential knowledge. It's not very easy to understand this. It is most confidential knowledge. We can understand this once. Yeah. What are your thoughts? So this philosophy is called as Achinte Bheda Bhed Tattva. That is simultaneously oneness and difference. How? Let's look at the verse for. Let me share the screen. Let's go by verse. It's a very interesting thing. If you can understand this, you'll be able to appreciate Krishna and understand. You'll be able to see his mystic opulence. So first of all, he's saying, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So, all pervading. Maya tatam idam sarvam. Krishna is pervading this entire universe. How he is all pervading? By avyakta murtina, through his unmanifested form. Which means I cannot see Krishna by my gross eyes. First. Second, although I cannot see by my gross eyes, I can see by my spiritual eyes. And how to develop those eyes through which I can see Krishna everywhere, because he is pervading everywhere. If I work under spiritual master and purify my eyes. And Srila Prabhupada gives two verses. Atha Shri Krishna Namadina Bhavet Kayamendriya Sevon Mukhe Jivada Swameva. And he also gives the verse Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadai Hridayeshu. Right. So now all beings are in me. It implies that everything is resting in him. He explained the same thing in chapter 7 also. Right? Sutre Mani Gana Iva, everything is resting in me. Just like pearls are rested on a piece of thread. So now, Srila Prabhupada gives an excellent analogy to understand this. And what is that example? Just as the sunshine is spread all over the universe, the energy of the Lord is spread all over the creation. And everything is resting in it. So all planets are actually resting in sunshine. Similarly, all planets in this entire creation is resting in the Brahma Jyoti, which are the bodily rays of Krishna. So if sun is present everywhere through sunshine, does it mean the sun itself is present? Right? Because sunshine is one with sun. They're non-different. Similarly, all energies are one with Krishna. They are non-different. And yet, sunshine is not sun. And yet, energies of Krishna are not Krishna. They are one with Krishna because they have come from Krishna. But at the same time, they are different. Still, I'm a. So now in the next verse, therefore, he's saying, and yet everything that is created does not rest in me. So how to understand that? So after explaining that all beings rest in me, the Krishna is saying completely opposite, that they do not rest in me. So this contradictory language is meant to show that he is personally aloof from the workings of the universe. and that such functions are carried out by his energies. So when he's saying in the previous verse that everything is resting in me, it means everything is resting in Krishna's energy. And when he's saying here that everything does not rest in me, he's speaking about his personal form. So everything is resting in the energy of Krishna, but Krishna is not everywhere in his personal form. But he can be present everywhere for his devotees, not for non-devotees. Just like Prahlad Maharaj saw Krishna, and for him, he can appear from a pillar for his devotees because he's everywhere, but not for his non-devotees. And this is Krishna is saying, Yogam Aishwaryam. So Srila Prabhupada is saying this should not be misunderstood. The Lord is not directly concerned with maintenance and sustenance of this material manifestation. So how to understand this? That everything is resting in the Lord, and yet Lord is not everywhere. And therefore, this is achintya, inconceivable. Not understood by an ordinary logical way. How can someone be everywhere and not be there? How is that possible? And therefore, this is opulence. This is Aishwarya only for Krishna. No one else can do that. He's can you like if you are given some responsibility, if you have to take care of home, we'll be personally involved with our consciousness at home. If I have to take care, if I'm cooking, can I just sit relaxed and have whatever will cook? It doesn't happen. I have to get involved. But Krishna, everything is happen automatically through his energies. And he's not present everywhere. He doesn't have to bother. He doesn't have to, involve himself, think how to run this creation. It's happening automatically through his energies. And he's enjoying in Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan, playing flutes with his coward boyfriends, with his girlfriends, with all the Braj Sakhas, Brajvasis. So this is the opulence of the Lord. So all the planets, they are moving in the universe. They're happening automatically. It's not that Krishna has come there and sometimes we see the picture of an atlas. He's holding up the creation and he's so tired, working so hard, and his shoulders are pressing. Krishna is not like that. And these verses explains that. Now there are two things. Some people say because Krishna is everywhere, therefore whatever you worship is worship of Krishna. Just like on our devices, you maybe are connected through your phone or computers, laptop. Is Krishna there in laptop? Yes or no? Is Krishna is there in your phone? Or is Krishna there in your earphones that you are using? Is Krishna there? Yes, no.
Prabhuji, yes, through his energy.
Yeah, Krishna is there, absolutely. Krishna is saying, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagata vyakta murtina. Through avyakta murtina is pervading everywhere. So, if Krishna is there in your phones and laptops, can we start worshipping laptops and phones tomorrow? Let's have an arti, let's have an abhishek. Because Krishna is there, Krishna is everywhere. Why not? Because Krishna here is saying, Na chamatstani bhutani pashyamayo. But some people say, when you are worshipping the deity in the temple, it's simply a stone. How are you worshipping the deity, which is simply a stone? Why you're worshipping that deity and not the laptop or the computer? What is it so different? Yes, Neelam Mataji.
Deities are installed by the proper Vedic mantras. We are installing them, and we are believing that now they are residing at our place, and we have faith that Murti Puja or Vigra Puja is like that. We consider that we are having strong faith actually because of the installation and everything process. There is a Vedina.
Yes. Okay. So can't we chant Vedic mantras and install Krishna in the phone and computers and our Almiras? Can't we do that? Can't we have an installation at the Hindu temple?
According to the scripture, Prabhuji, we deities are formed in that same manner, which we can form. The mobile and laptops, they are not mentioned in the scriptures. So whatever deities we are having, we are just using them, or we just made them according to the scriptures, or so.
Yes, absolutely. So, Srila Prabhupada is saying in one of his classes, Krishna is stone. Krishna says, Bhume Rapo Nalo Vayu. And so he can take service in this form. Krishna can accept your service in any way. This is Krishna's omnipotence. If you want to worship the gigantic Virat roop of Krishna, and if you want to dress him, then where is there such a huge amount of cloth? How can you do it? Suppose you want to worship the universal form. How will you dress the universal form? How much cloth do you need? So it is Krishna's kindness that he has appeared before you in a small form, so that according to your capacity, you can make very nice dresses and dress him. And by dressing him, Krishna will understand that here is my devotee. He is giving me service. So therefore, deity worship is necessary for the Kanishtadhikari. If you simply think Krishna is everywhere and I shall meditate on him, it will not be possible. So sometimes people say Krishna is everywhere. What is the need to go to the temple? Okay, if Krishna is everywhere, Krishna is also in the temple, is it not? How come Krishna is everywhere except temple? So, but point is, a Kanishtadhikari cannot meditate on Krishna everywhere. They cannot see Krishna everywhere. It's not possible because it requires good qualification. But by Krishna's kindness, even a child can also see him in the Archamurti. Any innocent person, any illiterate person can see him. A Brahmana can see him and a Shudra can see him. And therefore, deity worship is so important. So if you can understand this Yoga Meshwaryam, you can understand the entire philosophy of deity worship through this knowledge as well. So Krishna is everywhere. Yes, he is everywhere. But it does not mean that everywhere we start worshipping everything as Krishna. And yet, Krishna can manifest from everywhere. So the deity is just like there is a 500 rupee note. Every paper is not currency. Right? Every marble is not deity. Every you take newspaper and write 500. Will it start acting as 500? No. It is paper. But 500 note is also paper. Both are paper. But what is so different in 500 rupee note? Because it is authorized by government. Right? There is a particular, it's made in a particular way. It's authorized in a particular way. Similarly, on your floor is also stone. And the deity is also made up of stone. But that stone and this stone, there's a difference. That deity stone is authorized by Vedic literature. It is made in a certain way. It accepts service in a certain way. There are letter boxes. You put your post in the letter box, it reaches the destination. Has it happened? You put your letter in any box. Of course, these days no one uses letter box, but earlier there used to be, right? So if you, what is so special about those boxes? Can I put my own box painted red and anyone who puts letter, it will reach? No, because it's authorized by government. So now To make it more understandable, Krishna is giving an example. What is that example? How to understand this inconceivable potency? Just as mighty wind blowing everywhere, rest always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. So sky is the biggest manifestation to conceive. Srila Prabhupada is writing, the sky may be the biggest manifestation. And wind is the biggest to conceive. In that sky, wind is the biggest to conceive. So wind is great and influences all the movement, but wind is never beyond sky. It is always subordinate to the sky. So all the manifestation, the different planets, stars, all the different life forms that are existing in this world, they're so amazing, but they are not existing beyond the Lord. They are present in the Lord. And just like sky is different from the wind, Lord is aloof and unaffected. Sky is not affected by the movement of wind. Similarly, anything that is happening in this world is not, Lord is unaffected by that. When we say unaffected, it does not mean people are suffering and Lord is not bothered by it at all. It does not mean that. When we say unaffected, it means there is no vikara, there is no change that comes in the absolute truth. He does not become subordinate to the modes of nature. His form remains transcendental. Any questions from these three verses? How is Krishna related with this material world? So that is the Yoga Aishwaryam, verse 4, 5, and 6. Krishna says, I am present everywhere. Everything is situated into me, but I am not in them. And the next verse he says, and everything is not situated in me. And this is my mystic opulences. Just like sun and the sun rays, they are not different. Everything is created and situated in the sunlight. But this does not mean the sun is present everywhere. Sun is present everywhere through its energies. But there is difference between sun god and sun energy. There's a difference between fire and heat and light. Heat and light exist because there is fire. And yet heat and light are not fire. Similarly, everything in this world is being maintained, created, they are sustaining because of energy of Krishna. And yet Krishna is not everywhere. But he can he can be present everywhere. He can manifest himself for his devotees because he's present everywhere. So simultaneously, at the same time, he's one and he's different at the same time. That is why it is called Achinte Bheda Abheda Tattva. There is a Bhed, this different, and there is Abhed at the same time. And that is why it is Achintya. Yes, Pranav.
Prabhuji, so the Paramatma which is residing in everyone's heart, is it Krishna's person form or is it energy?
So Krishna is expansions. So there's Brahma Jyoti, and then second stage is realization is Paramatma, and then there is Bhagavan. So he is present everywhere. And he's also Andantarastam, Paramanu, Veyantarastam. Brahma is saying in the prayers. So he's present. But at the same time, he's aloof. The Bhagavan feature is completely aloof. So yes, he's present. He's present through Brahma Jyoti. is present through Paramatma in every nook and corner, in every atom. At the same time, he is aloof. Okay, so what about that? In the previous three verses, verse 4, 5, and 6, Krishna is explaining his role in terms of maintaining this universe. So, what about creation and destruction? So, now Krishna explains those roles also in these verses 7, 8, 9. Sarva bhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshay punastani kalpada visrujamyaham. Enter into my nature. At the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. So, at the end of millennium, what is that millennium? That we studied in chapter 8 also. Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyad Brahmano Vidu, right? Those Chaturyug, the day of Brahma that we discussed. So that there it meant one day. But here in this chapter, the end of millennium means that at the death of Brahma, after his 100 years are complete. So all cosmic manifestation enter into Prakritim Yanti Mamikam, enter into his nature. And then it manifests again in the next. The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again. And under my will, it is annihilated at the end. So Krishna is saying, Avasham Prakatir Vashat. Avasham means automatically is happening through his energies. The same thing that he mentioned in his Yogeshwaran. And we also in chapter 7 we discussed Maya Dhakshena Prakriti Suyas Characharam. No, that will come in here. Adevi Esha Gunmai Mama Maya Duratyaya. This is my energy. So everything is happening under Krishna. So if Krishna is source of creation and if Krishna is the source of destruction and he is maintaining, so Krishna becomes influenced by these changes. Krishna says no in this verse. Nachamam tani karmani nibadhananti dhananjaya udasin vadasinam asaktam teshu karvaso. Because I am udasin, I am neutral, and asaktam, I am without attraction. So, O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. Nachamam tani karmani nibadhananti dhananjaya. They cannot bind me. Why they cannot bind me? Because I am udasin, I am ever detached from this material activities, seated as though neutral. The Lord is always neutral in the material world, and material world is carried out by different potentials. The Prabhupada, to explain this point, gives another analogy. The example can be given of a high court judge sitting on his bench. By his order, so many things are happening. Someone is being hanged, someone is being put into jail, someone is awarded a huge amount of wealth, but still he's neutral. He has nothing to do with all that gain and loss, right? So many things are happening in the court, but judge is not implicated because he's neutral. Someone is being hanged, someone is being put in jail, someone is awarded, but he has nothing to do with all that gain and loss. Similarly, Lord is always neutral. And Krishna, in one way, summarizes his previous teachings in this verse. He explains how everything is happening under his super will. Mayyadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. Krishna says, Maya adhyakshena prakriti. अध्यक्षता, मेरी अध्यक्षता में पूरी की पूरी प्रकृति कार्य कर रही। तो माय सुपरिटेंडेंस। सूयते स चरा अचरम। So chara means moving and achar means non-moving. So there are two types of living entities, char and achar. All of them are being controlled by Prakriti, which is functioning under my adhyakshata. Hetu nanena kaunteya jagat parivartate. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So, let's summarize these verses. First, Krishna explained his role in maintenance. He is pervading entire universe by his energies. He pervades in his unmanifested form. This unmanifested form can be revealed only through devotional service. Everything rests in him, but still he does not lose his personal existence. His unconceivable mystic opulence, that is aloof from material creation, and everything happens just by his will. This is his Yoga Ishvara. And he gives the analogy of sky and wind. Then he is explaining his role in creation and destruction, that under his influence, material world is automatically created and destroyed. At the end of millennium, all material manifestation enter into his nature. Mahavishnu is the resting place of all material, but he is not located in any of the sectors. So it is neutral. So now, after describing his role, so after hearing the Lord describe how he is the supreme object of worship in terms of material creation, one may ask, if Krishna is creating, he is destroying, he is maintaining, why then some people do not respect him? Like he's the cause of all causes, we say. And here we read, and after seeing this wonderful opulence, naturally the question would be, and why do some people do not respect him, do not worship him? And Krishna says about those people, why? Avajananti ma muda manushim tanvashitam param bhava vajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Avajananti, they deride me. Who deride Krishna? Mudha, foolish people. When do they deride? Specifically when Krishna comes in Manushim, in the roop of Manushya, in this human form. And why do they deride? Param Bhavam Ajananto. Because they are Muda, they do not know Krishna's Parama Bhava, higher nature, transcendental nature. Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram. So I am the supreme Ishwar, supreme proprietor. The fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme Lord of all that being. Right? We discussed the similar thing in chapter 7 also. Namam dushkitano mudha prapadyante naradhama. Similar thing. Then what happens to them? What is their destination? If someone deride Krishna, what happens to them? So Krishna says in the next verse, Moghasha moga karmano moga jnana vichetasa rakshasim asurim chaiva prakritim mohinim shita. Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. So, Mogha Asha. Asha means hope. They are baffled in their hope. Mogha Karmano. They are baffled in their karma. Mogha Jnana. They are baffled in Jnana. Vichetasa. And then what happens to them? Why they are baffled? Because Rakshasim Asurim Chaiva. They have taken shelter of Rakshas and Asurim, demonic and atheistic Prakriti. And they are Mohinim Shrita. Shrita means Ashrit, to take shelter. So they have taken shelter of Prakriti, that is Rakshasi and Asuri, and they are bewildered by it, Mohinim. So they are bewildered, they are attracted by demonic atheistic views. In that deluded condition, three things are failure. They are baffled. Their hopes, Moghasha, their hopes for liberation, Mogha Karmano, their activities, and Mogha Jnana, the culture of knowledge. They're all defeated. So this is about someone who derives Krishna, and these are their destination. But what about someone who respects Krishna as he is revealing himself? What about those people? Krishna says, Mahatmanastu Maham Partha, Devim Prakritim Ashrita, Bhajantyananya Manaso, Gyata Bhutadim Avyayam. In the previous verse, he was speaking about which Prakriti? Rakshasim Asurim Chaiva Prakritim Mohinim Shrita, right? Rakshasi and Asuri. Here he's talking about Devi Prakriti. See, living entity has to take shelter of either of them. Living entity cannot exist independently. It's a Tathastha Shakti. So either internal energy or external energy. So here, someone who respects Krishna, they're called as Mahatma. And they take shelter of Devi Prakriti. And what is the symptom of someone who is a Mahatma and who has taken this shelter? How can someone say? What are the symptoms in their practical life? Bhajantya Nanya Manaso. They are engaged in bhajan by Ananya Manasa, without deviation of mind. Why do they engage in bhajan? Gyatva, because they know me. What do they know? Bhutadim Avyayam. That I am the source, the origin of creation, and I'm inexhaustible. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhajante Ananya Manaso. So they are not partially engaged. They are fully engaged with Ananya Mana. Their mind is not going here and there. They're fixed on lotus feet of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada explains the description of Mahatma. So the word, this title Mahatma, is not meant for political propaganda. This is a spiritual. It's meant for someone who has taken shelter of Devi Prakriti. And the symptom of such a person would be Bhajanti Ananya Manasa. That is the qualification. They will be surrendered to Krishna. And Krishna is continuing that description of such Mahatma. What do they do? Satatam. Okay, can someone chant this verse? We all should, chant these verses. All know how to chant these verses. Someone who's not spoken so far, I would like to ask you. Yes, Kishori Mataji, please chant.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Satatam kirtiyanto mam yatantascha vridha varta nitya yukta upasayate. Translation: always chanting my glory and endeavoring with great determination, borne down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion.
Yes. They're always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Okay. Um, so, taking a note of these symptoms, can you think of any Mahatma in your life? Someone who's exhibiting these symptoms? Do you know anyone? So, take a moment, think of personality, either living or departed or from scriptures, who has exhibited these qualities.
Srila Prabhupada.
Okay, Srila Prabhupada, yes. And the qualities mentioned in verse 13 and 14. Mahatmanastu Mahaparthan, Devim Prakriti Mashrita, Vachantananya Manasa, Gyatva Bhutadi Mabhaya, and this Satatam Kirtayantama, Yatantascha Dridvata, Avasyantascha Mahabhaktin Devtava. Okay, how Srila Prabhupada? So give some specific example uh, and which quality he manifested. So take a moment, pick your notebook and pen. Think of someone. Whom would you call a Mahatma based on these qualities? And
Prabhuji, can you please speak a bit louder? It's a request.
I'm speaking already so loud. My God. No one can hear me?
We can hear, but volume is a bit low.
Um, I really can't speak in this. Like, I'm speaking in a voice double which the volume which I usually speak day to day conversation. Okay, how many of you are facing this issue? You're not able to hear me properly. Others also?
Prabhu, I am hearing you properly.
What about others? Am I audible? Are you able to hear me? Okay. I really don't have a solution to that, Bhishma Prabhu. I don't know what to do. Maybe,
Prabhu, now your voice is perfect, but sometimes get lower.
okay, let's hope. The question is, think of someone whom you would call as Mahatma based upon the symptoms given by Krishna. These verses, Satatam Kirtayantam Amritantas Chatradvata. And think of some specific incident. Why you are calling them as Mahatma? Which quality are they exhibiting? Either in your life or from scriptures, uh, from someone you know who's not in their manifest form. Anyone, it can be anyone. Think of some personalities and write it down in your book. Okay. And if you think you are a Mahatma, you can write your name also. If you are already doing all of these things, you can write that also. And devotees gave example of Srila Prabhupada. So if you're writing Srila Prabhupada, think of some specific pastime or specific quality he exhibited based upon which you're calling Srila Prabhupada as Mahatma.
Namacharya Haridas Thakur,
Okay. How?
because he was chanting so many rounds and he was not taking anything until and unless he was completing his rounds. And he was so
Yes.
dedicated.
Srila Haridas Thakur, who was born in a Mohammedan family, in a Yavana family, and yet he's a Mahatma. So Mahatma is not based upon birth, it's based upon one's activities. One can be born in any family background and can still be a Mahatma. Yes, Prerna Mataji. Prerna Mataji, your hand is up. Okay, others?
I told about Sri Prabhupada and the quality is Yatantra world in the ship. Am I audible now? Audible now? Yes, no.
Yes, continue.
Prabhuji, Srila Prabhupada, because of that Yatantascha Dridavritta quality, when he was going to the Western world on the ship, he got 2 heart attacks, but still he went to the Western world and with absolute determination, he preached about Krishna consciousness and make the hippies devotees and like change the whole scenario of Western world.
Yes, thank you. Very wonderful example. So many examples of Srila Prabhupada's determination. And he translated Bhagavad Gita. His entire manuscripts was lost. When the time came to print it, his wife had already sold it off. So he wrote again. He went on a ship. When he was living at the Bower Street, his typewriter was stolen. His all belongings were stolen. Poor health. Everyone abandoned him. There was a time when he did not have even a proper dhoti kurta to wear. He was failing in his health. He tried for 40 years in India, yet no one became a devotee. Just one. But none of that deterred him. He was resolved. He was dridhavrita in his glorification to Krishna. Yes. What else? So Kanchan Mataji is writing, my teacher who connected me to Bhakti, Daya Mataji. She do Krishna glorification. Jai. Yes. Okay, Indra Prabhu. Yes. Absolutely. Who else you can think of? Yes, Komal Mataji.
Krishna Prabhuji, Prahlad Maharaj,
Yeah.
he spoke his friend about the glories of Krishna, and he told that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead.
Yes, thank you, Prahlad Maharaj. Dridhavrita. So, despite so many obstacles, his own father was against him. He wanted to kill him. But he did not leave the glorification of Krishna. So, he was always chanting Satatam. What do we mean by Satatam? Always. What do we mean by always?
Continue.
There are two meanings of always, Satatam. One is at all times, at all places, in all circumstances. Sarvada, Sarvatra, all Sarvastha. And another meaning is Satatam means daily. Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya. So Nityam means
Comments पढ़ो ना प्रभु जी, you are Mahatma as well.
yes. So you are in Maya a lot. You're saying. So if you can bless me in some lifetime, I can be. But so we're talking about satatam. What do we mean by satatam? One meaning is in all circumstances, and another meaning is daily attendance in Srimad Bhagavatam class. Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya. Something that you're doing regularly on a daily level, right? So if you are chanting a fixed number of rounds at daily level, attending Srimad Bhagavatam class, hearing one, that is also one meaning of satata, consistent. So all of us, that is our life's goal, to become a Mahatma. Um, uh, to become a Mahatma, not just this titled Mahatma, but like exhibiting these characteristics. No matter what happens, we are fixed in devotional service. Dridhavrita, Dridhavrita, this determined. Vrat means resolve, this decision. No matter what happens. Like Haridas Thakur, he was tried in the court, and his own the king asked him to leave the chanting of holy name, and he will be forgiven. What did Haridas Thakur reply? You can cut me into n number of pieces, but each piece will continually chant the holy name of Krishna. I cannot give up chant of the holy name. Even if you kill me, make me into different parts, but each anga will be chanting the holy name. So that is Dridhavrata. That decision, no matter what happens in my life, whether I'm in happiness or distress, whether I'm successful or failure, whether I'm in depression, whether I'm feeling like or not feeling like, whatever may be the situation of life, one thing I'll never leave, and that is chanting of the holy names of Krishna. That is Dridhavrita that we need to take. Yes, Shatavi Mataji.
Prabhuji, can we take the name of Hanuman as Mahatma?
Hanuman, absolutely. He's a Mahatma, one of the best Mahatmas. Always chanting the holy names of Ram.
Yeah, and he dedicated his all life in the service of Lord Ram.
Yes. Jai Hanuman. Sita Ram Janaki. Jai Bolo Hanuman. So after describing the position of Mahatma, what about those who are neither in the category of Mahatma, nor are they in the category of Mudha, Avajananti Ma Mudha? So these are two extremities. So on one side, there are Rakshasi Asurim Chaiva, those who are bewildered by Asuri Prakriti, and they deny Krishna. They don't Avajananti Mamuda. When Krishna comes in human form, they don't recognize him. They are atheistic. So that's one end. The other end of the spectrum is Mahatma. Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantascha Tadvata. But what about in between? So in between, Krishna has already spoken about four different categories in previous seventh chapter, right? Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritan arjuna artho jigyasur artharthi jnani cha bharata. So artho, jigyasur, artharthi and jnani. These four categories he has already spoken in the between these two. Now he is going to speak about three more categories in the next verse. Is it clear? I'm confusing. Let me find out where is. So if this is the line, so on one side, there are Duratma, who are atheists. On the other side, there are Mahatma. Another side of the spectrum is Mahatma. And their symptoms are described. Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. Okay? But in between, there are four categories that Krishna explained already. What are they? Artho, Jigyasur, Artharthi, and Jnani. Now, Krishna is explaining further three more categories in the next verse. So what are those categories? Can you, all of you have Bhagavad Gita with you? So take out verse number 15. So please, someone chant this verse and read the translation of this verse. Please unmute yourself and oops, what happened?
Prabhuji, text number 15.
Verse 15, yes. Someone,
Yeah.
yes, go ahead. ज्ञान यज्ञेन चाप्यन्ने यजन्तो माम उपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम. So what are those three categories? One is ekatvena, second is prithatvena, and third is vishvato mukham. So others who engage in the sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge. Jnana yajnena. So through the cultivation of knowledge. Yajanto mam upasate. Mam means me. Yajanto means worship. Upasate means the worship. And yajanto means sacrifice. So those who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge worship me. Mam upasate. Upasana. Meri upasana kar. So what are those people? Ekatvena, Prithatvena, Bahuda Vishvato Mukham. In oneness, in duality, and Bahuda in diversity, and in the universal form. Okay. So this verse is the summary of the previous verses. The Lord tells Arjuna that those who are purely in Krishna consciousness and do not know anything other than Krishna are called Mahatma. Yet there are other persons who are not exactly in the position of Mahatma, but who worship Krishna also in different ways. Some of them have already been described as the distressed, financially destitute, the inquisitive, and those who are engaged in cultivation. But there are others who are still lower So all of these three categories are lower than the previously four categories, Artho, Jigyasuga. And they're divided into three. He who worships himself as one with the Supreme Lord. That is Ekatvena. They worship themselves. And they think I am Krishna, and they worship themselves. So that is called as Ekatvena. Then he who concocts some form of Supreme Lord and worship that. That is Prithaktvena. So they are worshipping, but they are concocting the form. They're not actually worshipping the form of the Lord. They're just imagining some form and they're worshipping, offering worship to that. So that is also Krishna saying, Mam upasate. They're worshipping me, but in this way. It's a very lower category. And third is Vishvato Mukham. You accept the universal form, Vishvaroop of the Supreme Person and worships that. Out of the above three, the lowest, those who worship themselves as the Supreme Lord, thinking themselves to be monist, are most predominant. Such people think themselves to be Supreme Lord, and in this mentality, they worship themselves. This is also a type of God worship, for they can understand that they are not the material body, but are actually spiritual souls. At least such a sense is prominent. The second class includes the worshipper of the demigods, those who by imagination consider any form to be the form of Supreme Lord. So they think any demigod is equal to Krishna, and they worship that demigod in that conception. They're second class out of these three. And the third class includes those who cannot conceive of anything beyond the manifestation of this material universe. They consider the universe to be the supreme organism or entity and worship that. So for them, worshipping Krishna means worshipping this world. They think this world is supreme. All the manifestation in this world are manifestation of Krishna, and they worship. So they worship mountains, they worship sun, they worship moon. They think that is the supreme. Right? Is it clear? So what are the
Sorry, Brahmji. Brahmgyani will be part of this?
Brahmagyani?
Brahmgyani. Can we consider the example of Brahmgyani in this?
Yeah, that is Ekatvena. They think themselves to be Krishna and they worship them. Okay. So then what about them? After describing these three categories, so in next verse, Krishna start describing these categories. So out of that, one category is already described. Ekatvena. They are also considered as the lowest of all the categories. They think themselves to be Krishna. But because they have this conception, they are beyond this material body. They are different from material bodies. So that sense is prominent. But otherwise, it is almost considered as atheistic. Now, Krishna is describing in next verses which form out of these three. Can you identify? Ekatvena, Prithakwena, Vahuda, Vishvato Mukham. So first of all, he described Vishvato Mukham. And then later on, he'll describe Prithakwena. Okay. So in verse 16, 17, 18, 19, Krishna is describing how there are some people who worship him in his universal form. Aham pratur aham yajnah sudhaham aham aushadam mantroham evaj aham agniraham hutam. But it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herbs, the transcendental chant, I am the butter and the fire and the offering. Pitahamasya jagato mata dhata pitamaha vidyam pavitram omkara riksama yajurevacha. I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I am also the Rig, Sam, and Yajurved. Right? So Krishna is describing Yes, he's one with this universe in all of these ways. Gatir bharta prabhu sakshi nivasah sharanam suhrit prabhava pralayasthanam nidhanam bijam avyayam. I am the goal, sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place, and the eternal seed. If you can remember these verses and if you can contemplate on all of these qualities. For example, here Krishna is saying, Gatir Bharta, I am the goal, I am the sustainer, I am the Prabhu, I am Sakshi, I am Nivasaha, abode, I am Sharanam, and I am Suhrit, I am the most intimate friend. So just meditating, Krishna is my most intimate friend. Krishna is the sustainer. Krishna is the goal. Krishna is the Lord. He is Sakshi. Whatever I am doing, Krishna is witnessing that. Nivasa, he is the abode of everyone. Tapamyaham aham varsham nigranam yutsrajami cha amritam chaiva mrityuscha sadasachaham Arjuna. Arjuna, I give heed, and I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality and I am also death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me. So after describing, this is Vishwato Now Krishna is describing Prithakvena, someone who worshipped demigods as Krishna. So in verse 20 to 25, these 6 verses, Krishna is describing Prithakvena. Traividyamam somapa haputa papa yagyarištva swargatim prathayante te punyamasadhya surendra lokam ashnanti divyan divideva bhogan. Those who study the Vedas and drink the som juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship indirectly, purified of sinful reaction, they take birth on the pious heavenly planets of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. So the purpose of anyone who's worshipping demigods is ultimately to seek heavenly planets and to drink the soma juice. And they achieve that. What happens after they reach heavenly planets? What happens to them? Tetam bhuktva svargalokam vishalam shine punyamartilokam vishanti evam tridharma prapu evam tridharma manu prapanna gata gatam kama kama labhante. When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the result of their pious activities are exhausted, shine punya martilokam vishanti. Shine means they fall down. And Vishanti means they fall down. Shine means they're exhausted, all pious activities. And they return to Martya Lokam. What is Martya Lokam? It's planet Earth. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principle of 3 Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. So anyone who's aiming for heavenly planet, at the end, what is he achieving? Repeated birth and death. That is why Krishna said in verse chapter 7, Antavattu phalam tesham tad bhavatya alpamedasam. They are alpamedha, less intelligent, because they are after something which is temporary, non-permanent. And then, so after describing these 2 verses, Krishna suddenly wants to emphasize, he wants to speak about his devotees. What about his devotees? Like, do they also have that destination? So he says, no. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paripasate tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamiham. So all those people, they worship demigods for their requirements. But devotees, no, they are not like that. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So this verse this is the promise of Krishna. And for any devotee, this is such a hope-giving verse. This is our anchor of life. This is the compass of our life. Anyone who is engaged in Ananyas chintayanto ma. Ye jana paripasate. Krishna is not saying that I will carry through my energies or I will employ someone else. Krishna is saying, no, aham, I personally will do that. Tesham nitya viyuktanam yoga kshemam vahamiham. Krishna is so kind to his devotees. He said he's not residing in the heart of devotees as Paramatma. Tomara hriday sada Govinda Vishram. So he's residing in the form of Govinda. And here he's promising, I personally carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Who is they here? Ananya Chinta. Anyone who is thinking of Krishna with Ananya Chintayanto. And Paryupasate. They are worshipping Krishna. Again and again you will see this theme coming. Yogi Nam api sarvesham. Maya sakta mana partha. Ananya Chintayanto mam. Vedeshu yaggeshu tapasu chaiva. Daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam. Repeatedly, glories of devotional service, Krishna is speaking here to Arjuna. So after describing, so he's again moving back to that description of Pritatvena. What is the destination of those? Yepyanya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayanvita tepi mameva kaunteya yajantya vidhi purvakam. So those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, right? But yajantya vidhi purvakam, they do it in a avidhi, in a wrong way. So they are ultimately worshipping me. This Krishna also established in chapter 7. Kamastasya hita jnana prapadyante devata, right? And yo yam yam tanum bhakta shraddhaya architum ichchati. Whatever demigods they are fixing, it is me who preserve their faith. Sataya shraddhaya yuktas tasya radhanam hiyate labde chatata kaman mayeva vihitanitan. It is me who is giving those results. I am the one who is sanctioning. So here also is repeating the same thing. Yajan. So they are worshipping me, but they are worshipping in a wrong way. Avidhi purvakam. So what's the right way? And because Krishna is saying here, aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha na tu mam abhijananti tatvenataschayavanti te. It is me, not the demigods. I am bhokta of sarva yajnanam. I am the master and I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices. Bhokta cha prabhureva cha. I am bhokta also, I am prabhu also. Of what? Sarva yajnanam, not some yajnanam. It's not that some yagyas, demigods are enjoyers, some yagyas, I am the enjoyer. No, he's saying sarva yajnanam, all the sacrifices, I am the enjoyer, I am the master. Na tu mam abhijan. But those who do not recognize, what happens to them? Chayavantite. They fall down. And what is the destination of someone who is worshipping demigods, someone who is worshipping me? Where do they go? And Krishna says, Yanti deva vrata devan pitran yanti pitravrata bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti madhya jinopimam. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghost spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. It is not that you worship anyone and ultimately you will reach Krishna. No. If you purchase a ticket to Mumbai and you sit in the flight to Mumbai, you'll reach Mumbai. You'll not reach Kolkata. You're going, whatever place you are worshiping, putting a ticket, you'll reach there. So if you are worshipping a particular devata, you'll attain their planet. But if someone is, Krishna is saying, someone worshipping me, Yanti Madhyan Jinop, they will reach me. And Krishna's already mentioned in chapter 8 about his abode. Parastasmatu bhavono, vyakto vyaktat sanatana. Right? When everything is annihilated in this world, including the abodes of demigods, Krishna's abode is not annihilated. Krishna's place is very different from demigod's place. And how is Krishna's place look like? Chintamani prakarasat sukalpa vriksha lakshavriteshu surabhira vipalayantam Lakshmi sahasrashat sambrama sevyamanam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So Brahma is saying, describing that abode of Krishna. So if someone worships Krishna, they go back to Krishna. And he said the same thing in chapter 7. Antvattu phalam desham tadbhavatyalpa medasam devan dev yajo yanti madhyaji yanti matyaji dopima. So those, and he's repeating the same thing here in chapter 9. Yes, Ashatavi Mataji, your hand is up.
Prabhuji, can you elaborate this verse 22? But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form. So I want to know about this. To them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. What does that mean? The last verse. Like to them I carry what they lack and I preserve it.
What does it mean? Yoga kshemam vahamiham. To them, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Many times, people think if I engage my time in chanting Hare Krishna, if I spend 2 hours in chanting Hare Krishna, if I become a devotee, if I worship Krishna, what about my other things in life? I I wanted to have a big palace. I wanted to have a package of $1 million. And I want to work towards it. But if I start worshipping Krishna, what will happen to those desires? I want to become a doctor. I want to become an engineer. I want to marry such a person. Um, there is some lack in my life, and I want to fulfill that. Right. So usually people are either hankering over something that they don't have, or they are lamenting over what they had and they have lost it. Usually I'm in these two phases only. Either I'm desiring something for the future, or I'm thinking about my past. What I had something and I lost it, and I'm lamenting that. That's the symptom of a conditioned soul. They're never in the present. They're sometimes thinking about future, or they're thinking about the past, aspiring for the future and lamenting for the past. And therefore their mind is always unpeaceful, always disturbed. But Krishna says, if you think about me, you don't have to worry about any of those things. I promise you. I promise you. Trust me. I promise you. Whatever you need, I'll provide. And you don't have to worry about anything. I will preserve what you have. You trust me. You think of me. You enter into a relationship with me. So that is the promise that Krishna is giving here. So don't be disturbed what will happen to me in the future. And don't worry about the past. Give up everything and think about me with undivided attention. Ananyas chintayantoma. I will take care of you. I'm maintaining the whole universe. Why will I not take care of my devotees? He's saying, I'm taking care of all universe through my energies. But for my devotees, I will personally come to maintain them. And I will personally come to provide for them. So that assurance is giving. That is what Shraddha Shabde Vishwas kaile Sudhrida Nishchay Krishna Bhakti karile Sarv Karm Krit hoy. If I do Krishna Bhakti, all other activities are taken care of. If I put water into the root, it will satisfy all the leaves and twigs and branches. If I put food into the stomach, all the senses will be satisfied. Similarly, if I'll serve Krishna with all my heart, not official worship. He's not asking for official worship, just on a ritualistic level, right? He's asking something more than that. Not, okay, I went to temple today, I did my rounds and I did this and I did that. That's it. As a just a official count. No. He's saying Ananyas Chintayan. He's asking for it something deeper than that. With all your hearts. He's looking for love. Is it okay? Mataji, does that answer? Yes, Shatabdi Mataji, does it answer your question? Okay, Prerna Mataji.
Prabhuji, I have heard from like Srimad Bhagavatam or somewhere that Krishna take away the things so that the devotee can completely surrender unto him. So there is a point that he snatched away everything from a devotee so that he can surrender fully unto him. And in this shloka, he's saying that I will preserve all the things. So can you please
Yeah.
explain that point?
Yeah, yeah. So in Bhagavatam, there's a verse that comes, if I'm very dear to someone, if I'm especially merciful to someone, I take away everything from them. So that what is the next part of the verse? The answer is in the next part of the verse. Why he takes away everything?
So that we can completely surrender unto him. We rely
Ananyas,
on him.
so that he can come on the level of Ananyas Chintayantama. And when that person comes on the level of Ananyas Chintama, I provide everything also. Right? So I take everything because I want that person to Ananyas Chintayantama. And and if you think deeply, if you are thinking about, if you have Krishna with you, what else do we need in life? And if you don't have Krishna, what is the use of anything else? There was a king, and one day he announced in his kingdom, uh, I will fulfill everyone's desire. So whoever wants to come, whatever they want to ask, I will fulfill that desire. So it was such a exciting news for everyone. Everyone went. So one person came, he said, I want this much wealth for my entire life. Uh, King said, okay, give, granted. Then there's another person who said, I live in such a place. It's not a beautiful place. I want you to construct a lot of gardens and, repair all the roads and so on. King said, granted. So like that, someone else came and he said, I don't have a proper place to live. Construct me a palace. King said, granted. Then there's another person, he came, he said, King, I don't want anything from you. I just want to be a friend. The king said, granted. You want to be a friend? Okay, I'm your friend. So like that, then many days passed. And after some months, king thought about that person. He says, he's my friend. I haven't met my friend for so long. Why not meet him? And king said, today I want to go and meet my friend. So when a king goes to some place, before that, there are ministers, everyone goes to check them. So when they saw this person is living in such a poor place, they thought, why would king come in such a poor place? Let us build you a new home. They build a palace. And then they check the path through which king would come to your home. So they built the entire path with beautiful gardens, proper roads, fragrant flowers, everything. So king went and he would not go empty-handed. He took a lot of wealth also to give to his friend as a token of love. So just by the friendship of the king, all the desires are automatically fulfilled, right? So, so if Krishna is there, what else? That's the in the before the battlefield. both Arjuna and Duryodhana went to see Krishna, right? They wanted to have favor of Krishna. Please come my side, please come. And Krishna said, no, I'll I'll not pick up any weapon. And there are two options. I have my Narayani Sena. So one can have either my Narayani Seva, which is fully equipped with all the weapons, all the Astra Shastra, and other side, I am there. But I will not pick up any weapon. And he gave, because Arjuna was younger, he asked Arjuna, what do you want? Arjuna said, I want Krishna. I don't care about your army and this and that. I want you to be my side. I don't care whether you pick up any weapon or not. I just want you to be my side. And Duryodhana, he was very happy. He was so tense. What if Arjuna would ask the Narayani Sena, what would I do with Krishna? But Duryodhana said, okay, what option do I have? I'll pick the Narayani Sena. But in the end, who won? Because Arjuna had Krishna. Although Krishna did not pick up any weapon. If you have Krishna, you have everything. If you don't have Krishna, what else you have? So that way also it can be answered. Okay, so let's move ahead. Any other? Yes, so after speaking about ekatvena, prithaktvena, and bahuda vishvadomukam, and all the four categories in the previous chapters, and avajananti mamuda and mahatmanas mahapartha. So all these 8, 9 categories he explained. Now he wants us to make a choice. So he's encouraging us to make a choice. To encourage us to make the correct choice, so he's speaking final 9 verses of this chapter for our own benefit. And he's expressing his heart. What does he want from us? Like he's in these verses, you will see a vulnerable side of Krishna. Like he's so loving, and to love means to show one's heart. And Krishna is showing one's heart to Arjuna here in these 9 verses. What are those verses? Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadham bhaktya upritam ashnami prayatatmana. Very famous verse. You would have heard it so many times in your classes. But to read it in this context of chapter 9, this most confidential knowledge, Krishna is saying, Patra, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam. These 4 things. Patra, Pushpa, flower, Phala, fruit, Toya means water. Yome Bhaktya Prachati. Anyone who offers me these 4 things, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, and water. So you see, this is singular verse. These are not plural forms. Phalam, it's one fruit, not phalani. Pushpam, not pushpani. It's just one flower. It's patram, just one leaf. If someone offers to me prachati, in what way? How they offer? Bhaktaya, with love and devotion. Krishna says, Tad aham bhaktya upahritam. Ashnami prayatatmana. Ashnami, Krishna says, I accept. What do I accept? Someone who offers me this with bhakti. Offered in love. There is one word that has come 2 times in this verse. Which is that word? Bhakti. Offered in love and devotion. Prayat Atmana. Prayat Atmana, see the meaning of Prayat Atmana? From one in pure consciousness. So if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Right? How do you know the food that you are offering, Krishna is accepting it or not? Like you keep a plate, you chant some mantras, you clap, leave it, pick up the plate. What is happening? How do you know Krishna is accepted or not? Is there any guarantee? Accepted? How do we know? How many of you offer food on a regular basis? Right? Anyone? Anyone who has a vow that if it is not offered, I'll not eat it. Srila Prabhupada says, you'll study in Updeshamrit also. If you can take this vow, anything that will go on my tongue is first of all will be offered to Krishna. Your sense of tongue will be controlled. If you can control your tongue, all the other senses can be controlled. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jiva vegam, udarpasto vegam. Etan vegani vishahetati. So first verse of Updeshamrit. There are 6 Vegas. All the Vegas can be controlled. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says this tongue, stomach, and genitals, they are in single line. If you can control the tongue, all the other things can be controlled. But how the tongue will be controlled? By taking this vow in life. I will not eat anything unoffered. Anything that will go down this throat will be first offered to Krishna, not to me. If it is not offered to Krishna, I'll not take. So, uh, but how do you know if you're what you are offering to Krishna, Krishna is accepting it or not? How do you know that? That's what are your thoughts?
Want to know that, Rosie? That's what
Want to know that? Yes. How do we know what you are offering to Krishna? Krishna is accepting it, not. Adidev Prabhu is writing, if someone chants 16 rounds daily, he accepts Srila Prabhupada said. Oh, I'm hearing it this for the first time. Where does it say in that Shastra? And where did Prabhupada say this? Can you share any quote if someone chants 16 rounds and Krishna is accepting? There are so many things people say. Prabhupada himself says. So many devotees says Prabhupada said this, Prabhupada said that. He said, but I never said that. So I was hearing one of the memories, and I think Nand Kumar Prabhu was sharing. There was a discussion on how many chickpea you can eat. Some said 7, some says 11, some says 21. He said he went to Prabhupada. Everyone is quoting you, Prabhupada. You said one can eat 7 chickpea, 11, 21 chickpea. Prabhupada said, I never said that. And he said, accept what I said in my books or what you hear directly from me. Everything else except with a pinch of salt. So I'm not sure where did he say this. If you have some reference for this. So this means, if this also means like before Srila Prabhupada, before ISKCON, before establishment of ISKCON, Krishna was not accepting food in all through the time history of this creation. Krishna started accepting food only after 1966 when Prabhupada established ISKCON and instituted 16 rounds. Okay, how do you know?
Prasadam can change or transform one's life, a life of a devotee. We agree to that because we are transformed by consuming prasadam. But how, whether it is accepted by Krishna, that is a question. How do we know that?
The answer, yes, that's the answer. Krishna is saying, I accept. And someone can say, but I don't have bhakti in me. Krishna here says, Tadham bhaktya uktam, patram pushpam phalam tvam yo me bhaktya prayachati. So what I don't have bhakti, then is Krishna not accepting? But our point is, why do you say that you don't have bhakti? We will prove that you have bhakti. Through Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, when you study what's the definition of bhakti, there are three parameters. If it's for Krishna and it's practical action following the previous acharyas and you're doing it favorably, intention is to please Krishna. So when you're offering food, if you're doing it to Krishna and you're doing it for his pleasure and you're following a bona fide process. So Krishna is saying, I accept, that is a sign of bhakti. We keep tulsi leaf, patram pushpam, that leaf is the most dear to Krishna. And we are giving tulsi because Krishna likes tulsi. And therefore I'm offering it not directly through Guru Parampara. I may not have bhakti, but I'm following instructions of my Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj is offering to his spiritual master, and his spiritual master offering to his spiritual master. In Parampara it is going. So it's a bona fide process. So Krishna accepts. And if I'm taking care of principles of cleanliness, punctuality, I'm chanting those mantras and I'm offering to Guru and I'm praying, keeping tulsi. Krishna says, I accept. Why not? So imagine preparing something. How many of you would want to cook something for Krishna that Krishna comes and eat? Right? How many of you would like Krishna to taste your cooking? So Krishna says here, offer me something and I accept. Krishna is inviting all of us in having a very personal relationship with him through this verse. And that is pure devotional service. So what if someone is not able to practice this pure devotional service as described here? What about them? So Krishna says in the next verse, if you're not able to do that, at least you can do this. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yajjuhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering. So this is Nishkam Karma Yoga. So you're doing all the karmas. Whatever karoshi, yadashnasi, whatever you eat, what juhoshi, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, dadasi, whatever austerities you perform, how do you do it? Tat kurushva madarpanam. मुझे अर्पित करते हुए करो. So do it for me, and this is called archan. Everyone has tendency to give something in charity. Krishna says, give it to me. So whether it is eating, whether it is religious duties, whether it's charity, whether it's austerity, do it for Krishna. And what happens if someone do it in this way? What happens to them? If you follow this guideline, Krishna says, Shubha Shubha Falarevam Moksha Se Karma Bandhanai Sannyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukta Mam Upayashasi. In this way, you'll be freed from the bondage to work. Root cause of all problems in life is the bondage to work. Karma phala. That is why we have this body. That is why all the sukha, dukkha, klesh, everything is coming related to this body. But if you do work in this way, you'll be free from bondage to work. And you will be liberated, come to me. Vimukto mam upaishyasi. Mam upaishyasi. You will attain me. Sannyasa yoga yukta. Right. So, someone can say Krishna is very partial, He spoke about Avajananti Mamuda, and he spoke about different categories of people. So is Krishna partial in his reciprocation? Like for someone who's working for him, he's saying he'll attain me. For someone who's not working for him, they will not attain. Is this not partiality? Krishna is being partial here towards his devotees. So Krishna says, no, I am sammoham sarvabhuteshu. Nami dveshyosti na priya. Ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mai teteshu chapyaham. I'm not partial. I am sammoham. I'm equal. I'm equal to whom? Sarvabhuteshu. To all living entities. Why I'm equal to all living entities? Because I'm free from envy. I don't envy anyone. Neither anyone is dear to me. I'm neutral. After describing this, he's in this next line, he's saying, tu. Tu means but. Ye means those. Bhajanti, who performs bhajan, of whom? Mam, bhaktya. But anyone who's worshipping me, doing my bhajan with bhakti, mai teteshu chapyaham. Is a friend, is in me, and I'm also a friend to him. So how to understand first line and second line? First line he's saying, I'm equal to all. Second line he's saying, someone is a friend to me and I'm a friend to him who's worshipping me. Is this not partiality? What do you think? The first line and second line, is it not contradiction? What are your thoughts? First line is saying sammoham, I'm equal to all. But second line is saying, no, there's someone who's special friend to me and I'm also a friend to him. So is this not partiality?
Any relationship is a reciprocal. We can say if I am giving you respect, you will give me respect. If I am surrendering you or I am offering love, on the other side I'll get love. From the other side I'll get love. So maybe in this way.
Yeah. So what do you call partiality? This is partiality, no? If you do something for me, I'll do it for you. If you're not doing, I'm not doing. But you are God. You should be equal to all.
Krishna is giving chance to everyone. Na? It's up to us how we are using that chance.
Equal to all because he's not saying that you cannot approach me. He's inviting every single entity. He's equal to all. That opportunity to enter into a relationship with him is equal to all. He's not saying these are my favorite category of people and I want to have a relationship with them and rest all, I don't want to have a relationship with them and I'll make you suffer. He's not saying that. Equality is not giving equal marks to everyone in the exam. Imagine there's a medical exam and the examiner says, I will give equal marks to everyone. And someone who scored 0 also becomes a doctor. Someone who scores 100 also becomes a doctor. Would you want such a system? Would you approach someone who scored 0 but still is a doctor? Would you want to be treated by him? This is not equality. That is foolishness. Equality is everyone is given chance to become a doctor, but then they have to qualify. That's equality. A judge is equal to all, but based upon action, he seems partial, but he's not partial. He's equal to all. So similarly, Krishna is equal to all. But that's reciprocational relationship, as Neela Matar is saying, is a very natural thing because he's a person. Krishna also, Srila Prabhupada also explains this is also Achintya Bheda Bhed. Simultaneously, he is equal to all, and simultaneously, he favors his devotees. So if you do good acts, then you get a good result. If you do bad acts, then you get a bad result. This is Samoham Sarvabhuteshu. It is not that somebody is suffering because God is envious of him. That is what we need to understand. I am not suffering because God wants me to suffer. No, it is the result of my own activity. Suffering is coming due to my own activity, not because of God. So, after describing this, now Krishna is saying how he personally maintains. So he's saying in the previous verse, last line, Ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maititeshu chapya. But whoever renders service unto me, devotion is a friend in me and also friend to him. So what is so special about these friends? What is so special about this bhakta? And how Krishna takes care of this bhakta, he's describing in the next verse. Says, Api chet suduracharo, bhajate mam ananya bhak, sadhureva samantavyah, samyak vyavasito hi saha. So again, these two verses are can be most misunderstood verses. The next two verses, if someone misunderstands this, there can be havoc in spiritual lives. And if you can understand this properly, your faith in bhakti can grow tremendously. Next two verses. A lot of scope for not understanding it properly, a lot of scope for understanding it rightly also. Be very careful with next two verses. Okay, let's enter into it. Api chet suduracharo. Krishna is saying, even if duracharo, if it is someone is committing most abominable act. What? See, one word is durachar. But when you add a su before it, su durachar means superlative degree. Abominable activity of highest thing. Whatever the most abominable activity you can think, we're talking about that. We're talking in extremities now. Api means even if. Bhajate mam ananya bhak. If someone is doing devotional service, bhajan, of mam ananya bhak, without deviation, sadhu reva samantavya, that person is considered as sadhu. Anyone who is doing bhajan with ananya bhak, even if they commit sudurachar, they are considered as sadhu reva samantavya. Why? Samyag vyavasito hi saha. Because they are situated rightly in their determination. Even if commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. Why? Krishna continues to explain. Chipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. That he quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Kaunteya pratijani name bhakta pranashyati. That person becomes dharmatma shashvat shantim nigacchati. So how to understand these verses? Do you believe if someone is acting in the most abominable way, can they be still considered sadhu? And how much scope of misapplication is there of this verse? Okay, let's go into the purpose of this verses. Yes. Please, someone read from this here till the end of the purpose. Yes, Komal Mataji, read.
As far as possible, a devotee is very cautious so that he does not do anything that could disrupt his wholesome condition. He knows that perfection in his activities depend on his progressive realization of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, however, it may be seen that a person in Krishna consciousness commits some act which may be taken as most abominable socially and politically, but such a temporary fall down does not disqualify him. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that if a person fall down but is wholeheartedly engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, the Lord, being situated within his heart, purifies him and excuses him from that abomination. The material contamination is so strong that even a yogi fully engaged in the service of the Lord sometimes become injured. But Krishna consciousness is so strong that such an occasional fall down is at once rectified. Therefore, the process of devotional service is always a success. No one should drive a devotee for some accidental fall down from the ideal path, for, as explained in the next verse, such occasional fall downs will be stopped in due course as soon as devotee is completely situated in Krishna consciousness.
Yes, continue. Continue.
Therefore, a person who is situated in Krishna consciousness and is engaged with determination in the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, should be considered to be in the transcendental position. Even if by chance or accident he is found to have fallen, the word sadhu eva Shudar eva, he is saintly, are very emphatic. They are a warning to be non-devotees that because of an accidental fall down, a devotee should not be derided. He should still be considered saintly even if he has accidentally fall down. And the word mantaya is still more emphatic. If one does not follow this rule and derides a devotee for his accidental fall down, then one is disobeying the order of the Supreme Lord. The only qualification of a devotee is to be unflinchingly and exclusively engaged in devotional service. In the Narsimha Puran, the following statement is given.
Bhagavati chahara ananya cheta vrisha malinopi virajate manushyaha nahi shashak kalusha chabi kadachit timira parabhavatam upaiti chandraha.
The meaning is that even one fully engaged in the devotional service of the Lord is sometimes found engaged in the abominable activities. These activities should be considered to be like the sports that resemble the mark of a rabbit on the moon. Such sports do not become an impediment to the diffusion of moonlight. Similarly, the accidental fall down of a devotee from the path of saintly character does not make him abominable. On
That's
the
it.
other hand,
Thank you. Thank you. So, Sudurachara. First of all, one needs to understand there are two kinds of activities. One set of activities are called conditional. One set of activities are called constitutional. So, conditional activities are those in relation to the body, for the protection of the body, or for by avoiding the rules of society and state. And constitutional activities are those which are related to spirit soul, being conscious of our spiritual nature, engagement in devotional service. So there are these two kinds of activities. Okay. sometimes these activities are in synergy. They are complementing each other. They are not against each other. And sometimes these activities can be outrightly against each other. There can be scenarios like that. And he tries to balance. They try to balance his best not to disrupt his wholesome condition. And devotee is aware that the perfection in life depends upon advancement in Krishna consciousness. Now, second thing we need to understand after understanding about this concept of two kinds of activities, that abominable acts does not necessarily disqualify someone from the path of bhakti, because uh, the nature of this world is such that the nature of one's conditioning is such that even someone who's engaged fully in devotional service can sometimes there can be accidental fall downs. And Srila Prabhupada is specifically mentioning about accidental fall down, not intentional fall down, but accidental fall down. That uh, not that someone is thinking, okay, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, so whatever I'll do, it will automatically be taken. That is Namaprad. We're not talking about that. But someone who's sincere in devotional service, and they can still be engaged in abominable action because of their past conditioning, past habits. Sometimes certain situations came like that, certain temptations, but that person has not given up devotional service. They are continually engaged in devotional service. So Krishna is saying, Sadhureva Samantavya. They are saintly. Their mantavya means it's more emphatic that they need to be considered as sadhureva mantavya. And then Srila Prabhupada is explaining the only qualification that one needs to be, no matter what happens, one does not have to give up devotional service to Krishna. If someone is determined in their life, no matter what happens, I will not give up worshiping Krishna. I will always take shelter of Krishna. Even if I'm condemned, even if the whole world spit on me, even if everything is taken away from me, even if there is no justice, apparent justice to me, whatever may happen, I will not give up serving Krishna. That determination. So that person is a sadhu. And Prabhupada is giving as a caution. It is only for accidental fall down because Maya is so strong. And devotional service is like declaring war on Maya. But do not take this verse as a free license. If someone does not, Srila Prabhupada is writing here, if he does not improve in his character by devotional service, no one should take advantage of this verse and commit nonsense and think that he's still a devotee. If he does not improve in his character by devotional service, then it is to be understood that he's not a right devotee. Okay. Now this is a very interesting verse. After saying that, Krishna is saying, Shipram Bhakti Dharmata Shashwat Shantim Nigachati Kaunteya Pratijani Name Bhakta Pranashyati. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. There are many points to consider in this. First of all, why Krishna is asking Arjuna to declare? Why Krishna did not declare himself? I am declaring he will not perish. Why is he asking Arjuna to you declare? Because sometimes Krishna speaks in such a way, general public may not fully trust. Right? He may speak one thing, may mean something else. Or sometimes he he may break even his own promise. So all of you know that story of 5 arrows. Duryodhana was one in the middle of the war when the war started. Duryodhana went to Bhishma Dev and he said, "You are being partial. You are not fighting to your full capacity. You still have affection for your, the five Pandavas. And Bhishma Dev became very, very upset. And he said, because he was fighting honestly and he became very enraged. So he said, tomorrow I'll kill all the Pandavas. These are the words of Bhishma Dev. And Pandavas were sleeping very peacefully in his camp, and Krishna was awake. And Krishna was thinking, "Oh my God, what did Bhishma Dev do?" So he wake up Arjuna, and he said, and what did Bhishma Dev do? Based upon his mantra power and yogic shaktis, he prepared five special arrows, one for each Pandavas. And Duryodhana, he said he was afraid that he might lose them. He by tomorrow his affection may come rise once again, or he may change his mind in the night, whatever may happen. So he said, "You give me these five arrows, and I will give you tomorrow, return you back to you at the time of battlefield." He said, "Okay." So now Krishna, he wakes up Arjun and he tells Arjuna, "You go and ask for these five arrows from Duryodhana." So Arjuna went and he went to the camp of Duryodhana. In the evening, they would rest and they could meet each other. So Duryodhana, seeing Arjuna has come to his camp, he said, "Oh Arjuna, welcome. What do you want? If you want, we can stop the war. You beg kingdom from me, and I can give you kingdom. No problem." So Arjuna said, "Don't worry about kingdom. Kingdom we will snatch. We'll have a war and we'll win and conquer it. But do you remember that promise? Because previously Duryodhana was captured by Gandharvas and Arjuna protected them. So Duryodhana had said, "You can ask any boon from me." Arjuna said, "I will ask when the time comes." So Arjuna said, "Do you remember that boon that you gave?" Duryodhana said, "Yes, yes, I remember. You can ask even a kingdom from me." He said, "No, no, I don't want kingdom. That will fight. For now, you can just give me those five arrows that you are hiding." And Duryodhana reluctantly, because they're Kshatriya, they were following what they committed. So he gave five arrows. So next day morning, when Bhishma Dev came to understand that this has happened, so he understood this is not the working of Arjuna. He could not know. He understood it's Krishna's working, and Krishna is protecting his devotee. So Bhishma Dev, to establish the glory of Krishna and his relationship, he took another vow. He said, today, now I will fight in such a fierce way that either Krishna has to break his promise or Arjuna is dead. The Pandavas will die today. And that day, Bhishma Dev fought with such fury, with such anger, with such zest. Arjuna could not conquer, could not match any of his arrows. And Arjuna could see this is my end. The arrows were passing through his ears, passing through he was just barely skipping those arrows. And he was surprised seeing the fury of Bhishma Dev, seeing the way in which Bhishma Dev was fighting today. He, every soldier on the Pandava side saw the death personified in the form of Bhishma Dev that day. And Krishna, when he saw this form of Bhishma Dev, he became so angry. And he got down from his chariot. Actually, he broke, the Bhishma Dev was, break the chariot. No, I'm not sure if he broke that. But Krishna, to protect Arjuna, he got down from his chariot. He took a wheel and he approached Bhishma Dev. So there's wheel in his one hand and he's approaching, and there's the upper cloth of Krishna which has come down. And Bhishma Dev is like that. Yes, my purpose is fulfilled. Krishna picked up the weapon. He broke his promise to keep the promise of Bhishma Dev, his devotee, and to protect Arjuna. And Arjuna, when he saw, he was so upset. He ran after Krishna, begged at his feet, hold his feet. Krishna, what are you doing? What are you doing? You are the religion personified. How can you break your own words? But Krishna, he's not caring about his own words. He loves his devotee so much that he's protecting the words of Bhishma Dev. He's protecting the life of Arjuna. So therefore, there can be instances when Krishna may sometimes break even his own promises. But here he's asking Arjuna to declare, because if Arjuna declares, there is no way that Krishna is not following. In all circumstances, Krishna will follow that path. And therefore he's saying, asking Arjuna to declare it to the world. Name bhakta pranashyati. These are the words of a devotee that Krishna will always honor. Okay. So it's already 10 o'clock. We'll stop here. We'll continue from this verse onward. Thanks. Also cover chapter 10. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, you can please ask tomorrow. Go through chapter 10, go through chapter 9, what we discussed today. Have a wonderful day ahead. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.